Yes. What is your emergency?
Yes, hello.
My question, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am. Okay, stop yelling. Stop yelling. Ma'am, walk away so I can talk to you.
No, drop it! Why did you sue? Drop it!
On December 4th, 2023, a terrified mother of two picked up the phone and called 911. Her name was Niani Finlayson, and she told dispatchers her ex-boyfriend had just tried to strangle her and had abused her 9-year-old daughter. She was asking for help, but help never came because minutes later, when 3 deputies arrived at her Los Angeles apartment, it wasn't the ex-boyfriend who got shot. It was Niani. And the deputy who pulled the trigger? He was no stranger to pulling one. This is the story of Deputy Ty Shelton, a man who's killed not once, not twice, but at least 3 times in the line of duty. And somehow, instead of being investigated, prosecuted, or even fired, he's been promoted and paid more than $200,000 a year. Let's rewind. Imagine this for a second. Imagine calling 911 because you're scared for your life, and the very people you called end up killing you instead. Like, how does that even happen? Wait till you hear how it all went down. Welcome to Femme True Crime, where we tell the raw, untold stories behind the headlines. If you're drawn to truth, justice, and powerful storytelling, join the family. Subscribe now. So here's what happened. Niani Finlayson was just 27, living out in Lancaster, California. She was a mama to her little girl, 9-year-old Zaisha. That child was her whole world. On December 4th, 2023, Niani called 911 because her ex was at the house and refused to leave. She was scared, just trying to protect herself and her baby. But by the time the cops showed up, minutes later, she was on the floor, shot 4 times. And her daughter saw everything. The officer who pulled that trigger? Deputy Ty Shelton. And get this, that wasn't even his first time killing somebody on the job. Niani had big dreams. She was studying to become a nurse so she could really make a difference and give her daughter, Zaisha, a life she never had growing up. Her mama, Tracy Hall, said it best. She was such a loving, caring, wonderful mother and daughter. Just picture her for a second, laughing with Zaisha over pancakes on a Saturday morning, helping her with school projects at the kitchen table, talking about what color scrubs she'd wear when she finally became a nurse. That's who she was. A mama with dreams. A woman with a future, and none of that should have ended the way it did. Let me tell you how bad things had gotten that night. Niani called 911, and you could hear the fear in her voice. She said,
I need the police here. This man, he won't get out of my house now.
Imagine that. You're in your own home, feeling trapped, feeling unsafe, and the only thing left to do is call the cops. But it wasn't just her feeling scared. Her little girl, just 9 years old, told deputies straight up, he punched me. Man, think about that for a second. You're 9. You watch your mama scared for her life. You see a grown man hitting people in your house. You're hoping someone shows up to save y'all. And here's the real question. When you call for help, you expect rescue. But what happens when rescue becomes the danger? Here's where everything went from bad to tragic in just seconds. The deputies showed up, banging on Niani's door. They could hear yelling and chaos inside. And instead of trying to calm things down first, they start kicking at the door to break it open.
Yup.
But before they even bust it down, guess who opens it? Niani herself. Imagine that, opening the door to armed deputies, thinking help finally arrived. And that's when they saw her. She was holding a kitchen knife, and you can hear her voice on body cam saying, I'm about to stab him.
I'm gonna stab him because he touched my head.
Now, real talk. She wasn't threatening those officers. She was protecting herself and her baby from the man inside, the same man she just called 911 on. But in that split second, Deputy Ty Shelton had his gun out first. He then asked one of his fellow deputies for their taser, and they handed it to him. He holstered his gun, but somehow, despite already holding the taser in hand, he drew his gun out again. And before anyone could even process what was happening, 4 shots rang out. Blink, and it's over. They didn't try to use the taser. They didn't try to de-escalate. Deadly force was their first move. And her little girl, Her daughter stood right there and watched her mama get shot down in their own living room.
No! No! Drop it! Why did you shoot? Drop it!
How does that not gut you? How does a child ever come back from witnessing something like that? Right after the shots were fired, it's like the deputies suddenly remembered they were supposed to help. They rushed in, telling her, "Stay with us, ma'am. Stay with us." They pressed gauze against her wounds, trying to stop the bleeding. But come on, 4 bullets? At that point, it was too damn late. Paramedics got there as fast as they could. They worked on her, lifted her onto the stretcher, and rushed her to the hospital. But by the time they got there, Niani was pronounced dead. After everything went down, Niani's family was shattered. Her dad could barely speak through his grief. He said, "I can't eat, I can't sleep, justice has to be done." Her mama, Her mama said, "I miss her already. We didn't even get to say goodbye."
How could it be, We're supposed to depend on the law to protect us or, at least try to protect us the best that they can, but it seemed like their heart was not there.
The family filed a $30 million wrongful death lawsuit against Los Angeles County. But honestly, they want accountability. They want answers. They want to know why their daughter is gone and why a 9-year-old girl has to grow up replaying her mama's death in her head every single day.
My mom is just gone. And I hate that.
Because let's be real, no amount of dollars can bring Niani back. And here's where it gets even more messed up. That deputy who shot Niani, Ty Shelton, this wasn't his first time pulling the trigger. Back in 2020, he killed a man named Michael Thomas, another black man dealing with a mental health crisis at home, shot him dead. And guess what happened? Nothing. No discipline. No firing. He stayed right on duty like it was just another Tuesday. And it doesn't stop there. In early 2023, he allegedly body slammed a school janitor. Like, what is going on with this dude? Finally, after killing Niani, they relieved him of duty in March 2024. But let me ask you this. How many people got to get hurt or killed before they say, you know what? Maybe this one shouldn't have a badge? Because when someone shows you who they are and you keep handing them a gun, who's really responsible for what happens next? After Niani's death, the whole community was like, enough is enough. Activists, pastors, neighbors, they all came out demanding answers. They wanted transparency. They wanted to know why another black woman had to die calling for help. One group called Cancel the Contract. They said what happened to Niani was like an initiation into how black women are treated when they're in danger. How, instead of protection, they're met with bullets. And honestly, this ain't just about Niani. It's about the system that sees black women as threats before it sees them as victims. Think about it. How many black mothers do you know who've said, I'm scared to call the police. What if I don't survive that call? They say, why didn't she put the knife down? But no one asks, why wasn't she protected before it got this far? That's the reality. Black women are expected to defend themselves. But the minute they do, suddenly they're the threat. So what are we supposed to do? Stay silent and die at the hands of abusers? Or speak up and risk dying at the hands of police? That's the cruel choice this country keeps giving our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. Let me ask you this. When you call 911, do you expect to be protected? Or do you wonder if you'll end up the target? Because for Niani, that call was supposed to save her life. Instead, it ended it. We tell our girls, respect authority, keep calm, do what you're told so you can come back home. But is that ever really enough? When the system looking at you already sees a threat instead of a woman scared for her life? Some people online keep saying, she should have dropped the knife. She should have just run out with her daughter. She shouldn't have threatened him in front of the cops. But pause for a second. Imagine being trapped with someone violent, your baby girl behind you, your adrenaline pumping, your fear screaming louder than your logic. Would you be thinking clearly? Would you be able to make perfect choices in those seconds? What do you think should have happened differently that night? How should deputies have responded? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because stories like this, they're not just about what Niani did. They're about how black women can keep surviving in a world that keeps failing to protect us. If this story moved you, if it made you think about the world we live in, please like this video, share it, And hit subscribe, because these stories matter. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What needs to change so this doesn't keep happening? And remember, we're here for each other, always. Stay safe out there.